So the weight classes for the Matchroom versus Queensbury 5v5 show on June 1st were announced today. This will be on the undercard of Artur Beterbiev versus Dmitry Bivol. Now, the way it works is each promoter picks 2 weight classes each, and then Turki Al-Sheikh picked a weight class as well. And the weight classes are heavyweight, which was Turki Al-Sheikh's pick. Frank Warren also picked heavyweight, so that means 2 heavyweight fights on the undercard. Frank Warren picked middleweight as well. That was his second pick. And then Eddie Hearn's picks were light heavyweight and featherweight. So let's go through each weight class and see what potential matchups could be made, because again, the matchups haven't been announced. It's just the weight classes. But by going through the different stables of each promoter, we can maybe gauge who they might pick for the respective weight classes. So at heavyweight, we've heard rumors of Deontay Wilder versus Zhang and Filip Hrgovic versus Daniel Dubois. Now, Deontay Wilder, as far as I'm aware, as far as most of us were aware up until very recently, was either a free agent or somehow still tied to PBC. But then we heard rumors over the past couple of days that Deontay Wilder might sign with Eddie Hearn, which would be a hell of a turn up for the books, given the history there's been between Eddie Hearn and Deontay Wilder. So yeah, Deontay Wilder is a possibility if he signs with Matchroom for the Matchroom Queensbury 5v5. And then of course, Zhang is a Queensbury fighter. So that right there could be one of the matchups. Then Filip Hrgovic, who actually came to the end of his promotional contract with Matchroom and I think also with Sauerland fairly recently. Maybe he's re-signed behind the scenes. Maybe he's doing a one-fight deal. I'm not sure. But potentially, Filip Hrgovic could be a Matchroom fighter going up against Daniel Dubois, a Queensbury fighter. And if those are the 2 heavyweight fights on this card, I'm very happy because great matchups there. Hopefully, Deontay Wilder and Zhang will actually let their hands go on this occasion. But yeah, if it's those 2 matchups, I'm very happy. Now, some other possibilities would be Justice Hooney. Matchroom are a little thin when it comes to heavyweights these days. They've obviously got Anthony Joshua and possibly Filip Hrgovic, but outside of that, we don't know what's going on with Dylan White, etc., etc. So Justice Hooney is one of their fighters. He's upcoming. Would he take a risk at this stage of his career and fight somebody very highly ranked? We don't know. I just thought I'd throw it out there as a wild card or an honorable mention. There's also Joe Joyce, who's a Queensbury fighter, of course, and Joseph Parker is also a Queensbury fighter. So let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. The heavyweights. Moving on to light heavyweight, you've got Dmitry Bivol. He's a Matchroom fighter, but he's fighting Artur Beterbiev top of the bill. Presumably that won't be part of the 5v5. Beterbiev is signed to Top Rank, who is associated with Queensbury, but he's not a Queensbury fighter, as far as I'm aware anyway. So who you do have is Callum Smith for Matchroom, Anthony Yarde for Queensbury, Spider Richards for Matchroom, and Willie Hutchinson for Queensbury. So most people, including myself, will probably like Callum Smith versus Anthony Yarde. That would be the pick for many of us if we could choose matchups out of those 4 fighters. But then you've got the possibility of Yarde versus Spider Richards, Yarde versus Willie Hutchinson. I think that's kind of a long shot, but I just thought I'd throw that in there because I did look through Queensbury's stable and see how many light heavyweights they had. They don't have that many who would be eligible for this type of fight. So let me know what you guys think about the light heavyweight division. Who would you like to see most out of the 4 fighters I just mentioned? Callum Smith, Anthony Yarde, Spider Richards, Willie Hutchinson. What's the fight you'd like to see for the light heavyweight division? Moving on to the middleweight division, we got Felix Cash for Matchroom, Hamza Shiraz for Queensbury, Ammo Williams for Matchroom, Nathan Heaney for Queensbury, and also Denzel Bentley for Queensbury. Now, Felix Cash, of course, already beat Denzel Bentley a year or so ago. So is there a potential rematch there? Maybe. Felix Cash versus Hamza Shiraz is a good fight. Felix Cash seems to have been having some issues outside the ring, as well as injuries, inactivity. So I don't know whether he would be ready for this particular show. We will see. In which case, you might have Ammo Williams fight Hamza Shiraz, or Ammo Williams fight Nathan Heaney. Maybe even Ammo Williams fighting Denzel Bentley. Again, let me know what you guys think about the middleweight division, the matchups that can be made out of these 4 or 5 fighters. Moving on to the featherweight division, then the final division. This was picked by Matchroom. You got Ray Ford for Matchroom, Nick Ball for Queensbury, Lee Wood. Now, I put a question mark next to Lee Wood because we don't know if Lee Wood's staying at featherweight or if he's moving up. Perhaps he's spoken about it in the past. For the right money, I'm sure Lee Wood would come back down to featherweight, right? If the Saudis are paying enough. So I put a question mark next to Lee Wood. So as I say, Ray Ford for Matchroom, Nick Ball for Queensbury, Lee Wood for Matchroom, Nathaniel Collins for Queensbury. Queensbury don't have that many decent level. And when I say decent level, they've got some prospects, but I'm talking about guys who are hovering around world level at least. They don't have that many at the moment, Queensbury. They've got Nathaniel Collins, and Matchroom, of course, have got Josh Warrington. And they've also got Mauricio Lara. I put a question mark next to Lara as well because Lara may be fighting at super featherweight rather than featherweight these days. So those are the weight classes: heavyweight, middleweight, light heavyweight, and featherweight. And some good matchups in all those divisions to be made. In featherweight, Ray Ford versus Nick Ball. That's a really good fight. I'd like to see that. Nick Ball obviously just got a world title shot. He didn't get the win. He got a draw in that fight. But yeah, Ray Ford versus Nick Ball is a good one. Nick Ball versus Lee Wood. Nick Ball versus Josh Warrington. I mean, any fight really you put Nick Ball in is probably going to be a good fight. So yeah, I'm happy with the weight classes, particularly with 2 fights at heavyweight, and light heavyweight as well should produce something good, as well as all the others. I mean, even middleweight is good. I'd like to see Felix Cash versus Hamza Shiraz, or even, as I say, Amma Williams versus Hamza Shiraz. So let me know how you guys feel about all this in the comment section below.